Shubor nakaslem jong unongsan Hima.
Menteri Ramba Kejala Conrad ke sangma mentakasngi ulapli ya ke dissemination workshop nak bentaki nong tray katanat kam klau halor ke forest survey and mapping nak bentak Kejala Meghalaya dak bapenan kam dak hybrid system ban Bishar Bniah ya ke carbon financing bat ke phytodiversity heat map bat ki kendon jong ke BD Act amendment kabalapan long ha conference hall Sylvan House habakran hakani kasngi Menteri Ramba Kejala Conrad ke sangma habakran halor ke chinon kam jo kani ke workshop ulaong baka teknologi kalong ke badan kambha nak mtaban lum bat penan kam ya ki jingtip ban penyadai ya ki jingtip bala lum bat yo ling baka teknologi bandan ni ki model ki ba kham khlan jong ke jingla ban tip lupa ban Bishar Bniah ya ke Jinglong ke Suiñ Bneng bat kiru kompet Bniah kalong ke badan kam ban le ke jing penan kam ya ki jingtip na kitanat ba pher kan yarap ya ka sarkar bakan shnai ki policy bat ki jingarap ki badan kam ki ban ajing mentoi ulaong Menteri Rangba ulaong ru baka jala Meghalaya ka de jala ka ba paunam nak benda ka jing ruspa jong ki jing thau ba im bat ka jing nang jing start tanrai ka jing pentri kam ya ka biological diversity act bat ka jing pen kala ya ka house nam arja arpulai kalong ka ba kongsan ki kendon jong ka an kin penla yangi banyada ya ki marpo khando jongi bat ki jing tip tanrai ki bayade ba ka ni ka jing sha punan kam bakla bat ban pentikna bagi nong shong shnong kin yo jing mentoi na ka jing punan kam ka bane ya kini ki marpo khando ula benram
of this particular project, and I have been a very strong advocate of use of technology when it comes to ensuring that we are able to get information and data of the kind that we are going to get or we have received now because of the use of technology that we have. So I will not go too much into the details of the project as such. I'm sure we'll get a very detailed presentation on what this project is. But from a governance point of view and from the department point of view and from the policy point of view, I just want to stress that that in today's world we are actually moving very fast when it comes to data collection and data and information about different aspects of forest cover, different aspects of health factors, different aspects of education, and all the other different departments that we have. And now there is a huge inflow of information that is coming in. And what is important now for us to do, whether it's the forest or any other department that is there, is what is it that we do with this information and with this data. That is the critical part. And that is where you need to apply your minds more. So those days of collecting data and as being officials, sitting and trying to figure out, sending surveyors to the grassroots level and finding out what's happening, technology has now taken over that particular aspect. And therefore our roles are changing today. And therefore now, apart from, as I said, becoming individuals who will now use this particular data and map it or synchronize it with other datas and informations that we receive, and then coming out into a more stronger, predictability models. These are the critical things today that we need to do. So therefore, I am very excited to, of course, see the kind of information that is being collected. But I would want all of you to start thinking about what next. What do we do with this data? Data is there, or this is the cover. But then what is the trend? And I'm sure that this data that we're getting, it cannot be a one-time exercise. Because ultimately we are trying to see that what is the trend. So now today, for example, I remember Mr. Chaudhary had brought this entire report on the forest fire that's happening. And the question is now, how is this forest fire, how is the economic activity that we're doing, how is the rain patterns that are happening, How are these affecting the economic livelihood of the people? And how is this maybe affecting the forest fire? And therefore the mapping and correlation of all this information and data will ultimately be able to help us predict a trend that's happening and then realize that, look, if you don't do something now in this area, well, 15 and 20 years from now, that this will be the status of things. And that's where, technologies like artificial intelligence and all comes in. And this is where the real strength lies. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but I'm also heading the IT department. And we're very, very, very bullish about really pushing the IT sector. And IT is going to be a very, very important part. People think that IT is going to be just the BPO sector. Well, that's just one part of what we're doing. But once we're able to connect, we're coming up with a state-of-the-art, state data center. We're coming with, 2, 3, 4 phases of the IT park. We're having companies from international companies coming in, investing here. Right now, of course, in the BPO sector. But I really want to see tomorrow in the coming days that companies like Garuda and the others who have come in and done this, that big companies with data mining expertise problems when it comes to PHE. And I'll just conclude that part by just telling you also that in PHE, for example, we had a very big meeting the other day. And so there are about 7,500 springs that we have throughout the state. And we realized that about 700 of them are actually very critical for JJM projects. And so the Soil Conservation Department had started making projects for about 1,000 of them through one ADB funded project. We got about 300 crores. And we realized that because the technology was not being used, the Soil Conservation Department started making check dams in none of the 700 critical locations. They started making check dams in some location wherever they felt comfortable making them. So technology helps us to make the right decision. So what I'm trying to tell you, and I'll conclude with that, is that getting the information and data is just part of the process. It doesn't mean anything if you don't know what to do with that data. And in today's world, that is really what is the challenge. And to be able to then use this data with connection with other departments' data, and being able to then connect the different departments and the dots and see the trends that are happening in the cycle because of one particular activity happening will allow us to then be able to create the right policies and the right interventions which will then have a much larger impact at a much more efficient level and a much more affordable level. So I'll conclude with that, and once again, thank you all.